Hello everyone. Today I am here with Jess Dreamcatcher ASMR. Is there anything you would like to say before we get started?
Thanks for doing this. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. All right, we have a lot of questions for you, and we are going to start with ASMR questions.
Cool.
How did you come up with your channel name?
My channel name started just because as a kid I collected dream catchers. I just really liked them, and I liked the symbolism and the idea of taking away nightmares. And it became sort of a motif in some of my writing later on as well, so that's just how it came to be.
How did your persona come to be?
There's a certain mood that I have to be in when I record ASMR videos. Like, I need to be a lot calmer than I am in real life. I tend to be a little bit hyper and I tend to talk really fast. And so I have to kind of center myself before I make a YouTube video. And the difference between that and just sort of evolved into my online persona.
Why did you start recording ASMR videos?
At first, I thought it was going to be really fun, and it is, so I'm glad I started doing that. But also just to kind of give back to, I love ASMR, and I love how it's helped me to relax and de-stress in my life, and I wanted to be able to give that back to other people. And it's helped me to explore a different creative side that I really wouldn't have thought of otherwise, so I'm really grateful for that.
Is there anything you do to get into the proper mindset before recording a video?
Yeah, I rehearse the stories that I'm going to tell. I always have a little book of notes of what I'm going to talk about. So I rehearse that a little bit and try to get in the right tone of voice and try to relax myself, as I was saying. This way I don't go too fast or speak too loud or too soft. Finding a certain balance, I think, is important.
What triggers do you enjoy using in your videos?
Most of my videos are either soft-spoken or whisper. There have been some other videos that I've done. One was a change sorting one and stuff like that. I'm definitely going to do more of that in the future. But I think the soft-spoken and the whisper ones are the most fun for me.
What are your personal triggers?
I really like the whispering as well as like nail tapping. For some reason, certain rhythms help to relax me. So that I think definitely helps to de-stress. And for some reason, focusing on something like that, it just gets me into a calmer and better mood.
How does ASMR affect you personally?
It's definitely a little bit of an escape, I think, if I've had, a hard day or if I just want to relax a little bit, listening to something that can take me away from that, it's really something that's interesting that I don't really find with anything else.
How has ASMR changed you and your life?
I first found ASMR videos when I was in college and I was stressed with exams and work and all that. So finding ASMR, it just was something that was brand new that helped me to, I guess, stay a little bit more focused in a unique way. So that's definitely something that was totally different. And when I first found it, I was like, what is this? I thought it was really weird at first until I started watching more ASMR videos and was able to understand it better.
Do you have any future plans for your channel?
I definitely want to start doing more like narrations and creepypasta readings and stuff like that. So that's definitely what I'm going to do in the future. I'm also recording an audiobook version of my book, so that's going to definitely be on my channel in parts at some point.
Okay, that is it for the ASMR questions. The next set are to you as a writer. Who are your favorite writers?
My favorite writer is Owen Colfer. He wrote the Artemis Fowl series, and I sort of grew up reading that. I started reading that when I was in maybe fifth or sixth grade, and all through my middle school and high school years. And even now, as an adult, I still enjoy his writing a lot.
Where do you get your inspiration?
A lot of it is based on childhood memories, and then some of it is also based on dreams that I have. And other things are things that I observe either in nature or just out in my daily life.
How has writing changed you and your life?
It's a way that I could express myself. When I was a kid, I was really very shy. And so being able to write and being able to communicate something without making myself nervous or without having to speak in front of a group, expressing something in writing was a new way for me to explore that creative side.
Why did you start writing?
I remember when I was a kid and I had very encouraging teachers, thankfully. And I remember just being encouraged and them saying, from a very young age, you're a good writer. You should continue with this. Um, so I'm glad that I did.
Which poem are you most proud of writing?
In my book, Like a Child, there's a poem called Captured Moment. And it's about one of the earliest memories that I have with my family. So I think that one was really was something that really stands out in my mind as one of the most important ones that I wrote.
What is the earliest poem you remember writing?
I think I must have been in second or third grade, and we had an assignment to write poetry based on nature. And I thought that it was really fun, and that I sort of continued with it on my own after the assignment was over, and kind of never stopped writing.
What poem has made an impact on your life?
My dad is a writer as well, and he hasn't really massively published anything yet, and I wish that he would. Um, but the stories and the poetry that he would come up with when I was a kid presented this whole different world to me, and I think that's something that definitely fueled my creativity as well.
What story or poem are you currently working on?
I write almost every day, and I try to add something every day to the new book that I'm working on. So similarly to the first book, there's a lot of nature-themed poetry. There's some short stories as well. Sometimes when I get an initial idea and I don't know how to expand it, free writing really helps me. So I'll sit and set my clock for maybe 10 or 15 minutes and force myself to keep writing, even if I don't necessarily have any ideas to continue the initial idea that I had. But I find that after a few minutes of writing, something will come out. So I'm trying to do that every day.
Where do you see yourself going with your writing career?
It's definitely something that I want to continue in other forms as well. I definitely want to keep writing books, but expanding more into journalism as well and keeping updates on my blog and stuff. Um, that's definitely something I want to work on a little bit more.
Okay. The next set of questions is about the book you have published. Is there is there a story behind the name of your book?
Sure, it's called Like a Child, and it started as one of the major motifs of the book is poems based on childhood memories. So, Like a Child became this repeated line throughout many of the poems in the book, and so I just made it the title.
What sorts of poems and stories are found in your book?
In addition to nature poems and stories, a lot of it is based on either dreams that I have. A lot of them have kind of an ethereal tone, and a lot of it's also based on things that I observe in my daily life when I'll either see a person that I think is interesting and I'll try to maybe expand a story based on what I imagine the backstory of their life to be.
Why did you decide to publish your book?
I really love writing and I want to share that with people. And when several of my friends were working on books as well, I kind of got up the courage to see if I could publish mine as well. And I'm really glad that I did because it's something that I find a lot of personal emotional reward in, and I definitely want to continue it.
Were you nervous about publishing your book?
A little bit because I thought, what if it's a total fail? What if nobody likes it? There's always those what ifs and the uncertainties and sort of the idea of being your own worst critic. But the reception to it overall has been fairly positive, so I'm glad that I moved forward with it and getting into the mentality of I first and foremost did this as a project for myself. I mean, if people like it, that's great, but being able to take criticism and handle that for improvement, that's something I think I've definitely worked on over time.
When did it come out?
At the end of March.
How much does it cost?
It's $11.99 for the paperback and $70.99 for the Kindle edition.
Do you plan on publishing more books?
Definitely. I'm about halfway through a second book, so I'll definitely be working on more in the future, and I'm always glad to share that with people too.
Okay. And we are on the last question for you.
Cool.
What is a fun fact about yourself?
I have very vivid dreams, and as I said, that's where a lot of my inspiration for my writing comes from. And I think it's really interesting because sometimes a lot of stuff will come out from my subconscious that I can then make a story out of. And I love when that happens because it's kind of like an easy writing idea.
Is there anything you would like to say before we wrap this up?
No, just thanks again for doing this.
Okay. To anyone who hasn't already, make sure to check the description down below for a link to her channel as well as a link to her book. And go subscribe, comment, like, show lots of love and support. And thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, that's it for now. So bye everyone.